Hello friends, welcome back to CCSP certified channel. As I informed before, I have started batches for CCSP exam. In January month, I started my first batch that was from 24th of January, and recording of the same I have uploaded previously. Today I am uploading the second class 25th January recording. You can go through this and understand how I am teaching. This month, March month, I am starting two new batches for CCSP exam. One would be a weekend batch from 11th March onward, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. IST, 2 hours each and approx 36 hours whole, and a weekday batch 4 days a week from 16 March onward, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. IST. So in this 36 hour I will cover concepts along with sample question paper. I will give over 1000 questions for your self preparation, and I will conduct the batch, test series also. So it will be 36 hours will be dedicated classes, but couple of months you will be engaged with me for the self studies, and I give 100% guarantees you will clear the exam same way I have done it. If you want to interested or want to enroll for this, you can write me at the CCSP certified at the gmail.com. Same time I'm uploading this video recording, but few recording will be public. If you want to access whole recording, you can write to me. And the reason of this uploading is that if you cannot attend the classes, proper classes, because of the time constraint, work-life balance, or any other reason, you can still watch these recordings. And along these recordings, I will hand over to you the question banks and the other guidance. So uh, if you are interested, you can write to me for this and we can discuss. So today we'll come to the second day recording. So I will do a quick recap of the day one we have learned. We have discussed about the basic of the cryptography, the confidentiality, integrity, non-repudiation in detail, and we have seen how the symmetric key, asymmetric key, integrity, and the digital signature works. And we have seen the simple questions also associated with those concepts. After this, we started domain one, and it is domain one is cloud concepts, architecture, and design. And we have seen the definition of the cloud, IEEE, NIST, and IEC definition. Also, we have seen the main cloud characteristics or the cloud features. There are 6 features we have seen: on-demand self-service, broader network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, and major services. The last one is the multi-tenancy, which is a common service part of the resource pooling. So far, so good. In today's lecture, we'll cover other cloud features and the questions associated with these clouds. So today we are starting the cloud computing overview and the actors for the cloud computing. Okay, so there are 5 main entities here. So cloud provider is the main entity who provide the services. Now come to cloud customer. So cloud customer is one who purchase the services from the cloud providers. So it can be an individual or an entity that subscribe the cloud-based services, either SaaS-based, PaaS-based, or IaaS-based services. And let's say Airtel subscribe the cloud services of Oracle. Then Airtel has own employees also, employee data also, and Airtel has a customers also who are the subscriber of the Airtels, and they have Airtel's customer data also. Then the customer, because when we will define the who will responsible for the data management others. So the cloud customer is one who has subscribed the cloud services, and he is the ultimate responsible for the all the data loss or data breach that will cover in. But you understand what is the cloud customer role? Cloud customer is one who subscribe or utilize the cloud-based services. Now come to the cloud service provider that we have seen that it is the company who invest and provide this IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS services. It provide platform infrastructure, application storage, and all this as a service to the customer. They are rented services. So Microsoft, Azure, Oracle, AWS are the examples of the CSP. Now come to partner. So this is was the role which was not there in the diagram. If you see, there is no partner role there. They are broker role there. but as I mentioned, there is a sixth role, partner. So partner is the one who engage with a particular associated with particular CSP. Let's say Oracle has a Oracle Golden partner, Oracle Silver partners. Those are the sales partner of the Oracle. They only sell the Oracle services to the customer, their customers, and uh, they are the mainly broker type role, but they are associated with a single CSP. So they are known as a partner based service. So one role which is associated with the CSP directly is a partner role. Now we come to the broker role. So the broker is the most important role in this diagram. Broker is the one because you don't go to Google, Microsoft, or the Oracle to purchase the services. You go to marketplace and you use the services provided to the market. So let's say you don't go to insurance company to purchase the insurance. You go to some mediator like Policy Bazaar. So to purchase the policy. Same way, the cloud service broker is the broker who sell the different cloud services. So it can sell Google Cloud Service also, Oracle Cloud Services also. So partner is also broker, but partner only associated with one single CSP. Broker can sell services of all the cloud providers. Hope it is clear because this is being asked again and again. So broker is one who can sell services from all the cloud providers. Partner is associated with the one cloud provider.
So Ravi, what is the example of this broker? I mean, any known broker that we have right now?
For cloud,
Yes.
cloud we have. I don't remember exactly the name as of now, but we do have. I will share the name.
Okay.
Who work as
Karthik, Ragbank is one of the broker name.
Okay.
okay
Ragbank provides the different kind of clouds.
cloud services. Okay,
Right.
yeah. So I will give all more list tomorrow. So there are two more role: cloud service auditor and cloud carrier. So they are the third party organizations that verify the attainment of the SLAs of the cloud. So they claim that this is the we are providing 99.97% SLA. So they are the third party organizations that review their SLAs. They make sure that they meet their commitments. Many companies, auditing companies like PwC and others, are the cloud service auditors. There is a last entity, the cloud carrier. So Airtel, Jio, etc. Those are the one who making the cloud available to the customer globally. They are providing the network, telecom, and other services to their consumers. So it is more a channel through which cloud services can be accessed. So it can be it's not necessarily so internet based, can be intra based. So like in Oracle, we do have a fast connect, uh, and we do have a VPN connectivity. We have different service providers. So those are the cloud carrier. So they enable us to access the cloud services. So I hope this is clear as of now. I will quickly discuss the cloud broker other services, other roles here. Yeah, this is the example of the cloud broker that you was asking, uh, Karthik. They are the actual cloud broker in the industry as of now.
Okay.
So cloud broker has a three role. This is also being asked. You understand these three roles. They can work as a aggregator, arbitrage, and the intermediation. So in aggregation, what they combined different services provided by CSP in a single point and in single catalog like user management, access control, security, billing, auditing. So they can club the different services and sell them as a single package to their customers. Like they can have a, let's say this is a user provisioning suite. If you purchase this, you will get a user provisioning, deprovisioning, and the auditing reporting associated with them. So they can create a set of service, one single service by clubbing the different services from different vendors and sell it. So this is the role they play. This is a aggregation role. Arbitrage role, it is similar to aggregation role, but here the services are not fixed. Like which are the service they will give in that catalog? It is not this. They have flexibility to change the vendor or change the provider. So they said that they will give the email service. but it's not necessary they will give the Oracle email service only. But here it say they confirm it. So like they make a club of that we will give the Oracle database plus Java plus let's say uh, some application, let's say Avelo, or there are some global service now. Any application they club and they sell a package. But here the database can be changed. So here they are selling the package, but the services are not fixed. Here the services are fixed. So there are two roles. The last role is to so they can provide a services which is not provided by CSP. They can add their own value-added services. Like they can give own custom APIs, they can give own IAM management suite, or they can use value addition services which is not provided by insurance company or by the CSP companies or others. So they are the role they can play as a broker. So apart from the services provided by the CSP, they can add their own services also. So this is few example. Now we just quickly cover the regulatory consideration when there is a regulations regulatory audit happens. What are the considerations happens? First is the cybersecurity. The threat detection, incident response, patching, updates. So when there is a contract happens between customer and the cloud, the contracts is very important because it covers what are the patching, threat detection mechanisms, incident response, updates will happen. And so when a auditor do a auditing, they always check in the contract about the cybersecurity areas. Same time, the data privacy, as I mentioned, because I'm putting my customer data in the cloud. The customer data is very important because it has different jurisdiction associated with them. The privacy of the data is very important. So when there is a audit happens, it is very important to understand how it is being stored, how it is being shared, how it is being analyzed, how it is being collected. Is same way as there's a outsourcing or vendor management is there. So if there's a third party vendor associated, when they move it, they or when they're associated with the cloud, the exit strategy is very important because there are many scenarios when the cloud CSP don't want this customer to leave, so they make a unfavorable contract or they make a arrangement, so it is not easy to migrate from the cloud. So let's say you might be heard that in many companies when the customer don't want to go, they make a complex code, they make a source code unavailable, so their contract does not get lost, and they it has to be renewed by the your customer. Same way in cloud also it has happens that cloud CSP don't want their customer to lose. They make a scenarios which can create a vendor lock-in. And we will cover the 9 top threats in the cloud in upcoming slides. One of them is vendor lock-in. So when there is a scenario when vendor is not allowed to leave you, then you are where become a threat in the cloud, that it become a very problematic for the customers to survive. We will discuss them. Same business continuity, how the when the disaster happen, how the cloud will uh, do a business continuity plan, disaster recovery and business continuity plan, and send the record keeping, how long the reports are being kept, which format they are kept, so they can be retrieved, the logs and others data can be retrieved easily. So those are the main regulatory
Ravi,
considerations.
these regulatory compliance are in respect of the cloud broker, right?
They no, they are so they are third party cloud regulatory organization there. They they do the regulations on behalf of the customer. So customer ultimately customer is responsible for the all the regulations. So let's say I'm a company Oracle, so I have a customer data. I am compliant with the internal and the external auditors. So in that case, because my data is not in the on premise, it is in cloud based now. So I have to the third party auditors will review the cloud services on my behalf. So they will review the cloud, not the broker. Broker is
Okay, so
just one. Yeah.
this comes under which umbrella? Like we read about cloud partner, cloud
Yeah.
broker.
We do have a separate entity altogether for the regulatory. If you see, so there is a all about the cloud auditors are there. So
Okay.
they are. So this is one of the important pillar. There are 5 pillars mentioned there. Auditor is working on behalf of consumer or customer, and they review the cloud providers features, like how good they are in the business continuity, disaster recovery, how good they are in the data privacy, how good they are in the vendor locking and others contracts. So they are work on the behalf of the customer. Okay.
Okay.
So the how the cloud service provider provide the features. There are some building blocks of the cloud. So cloud computing, there's a compromise of this virtualization, network, storage, database, and orchestration. So these 5 are very important. We already know this because if there is a database, there is a storage, there is a network, and there is a virtualization for VM, then only the orchestration will work, and this will form the cloud. But this is being asked, what is the cloud building blocks are there? So when they ask couple of questions from this cloud, one question from this cloud zone, and one question will be from the coming slides. So building blocks of the clouds. So we'll cover this in the activities. Just to understand this, any cloud, uh, if there is a database, storage, network, and virtualization, then only it will work able to provide the services to the customers. And virtualization play a very important role in the cloud because we are assigning the resources virtually to the customer in the majority of the cases. We do have a bare metal concept also, but we'll cover later there when we'll cover the virtualization. The cost is coming because of the virtualization. They are able to recover the cost in the cloud. So we'll come to the activity. Any query before this? We jumps to the activity now. We have covered 4 questions yesterday, I think. Till 4. So I hope you guys have revised concept. There will be questions again. So this was not being discussed, okay? So we'll go off alphabetically as mentioned here in the Zoom. So we'll go with Alpit, Abhishek, Karthik, and Sharad. So this is to your question, Alpit. Just take your time. Think twice before giving the answer, please.
Okay.
Are you ready, Arpit, for answer?
Yeah, just a minute. Yes,
Yes, what is the answer?
it's on-demand self-service.
Again, Arpit, I just revise it quickly. So on-demand self-service is like when you need a resource in future, you can, rather than going for procurement process, you can self-create it. So here the capability of service are available over the internet and can be accessed by different devices. So this is a broad network
Oh,
access.
right.
Okay, just revise those because there
So,
will be one
Ravi,
question
I am
like
only
this.
the one who is getting some, disturbance in the voice, or
Uh,
everybody is observing that.
is it clear? My voice is clear to you guys?
Yes, I can hear you properly.
Yes, clear to me as well.
Okay, shall I just re-switch the network,
Yeah,
please?
looks like problem at my end. No problem.
Okay, so we quickly revise it again. So on-demand self-service is when you need a services in future and you can provision yourself. When it can be services can be available over internet and can be accessed from different devices, that it is a broad network access. And rapid
Okay.
elasticity is auto provisioning of the new resources and deprovisioning of the resources. It is rapid elasticity, and definitely resource pooling is a pool of the resources. So there will be one question. It's not hurry. They have give enough time. Just think. So this is next question to Abhishek. Abhishek, can you please add this? Can you please answer this?
Which of these characteristics cloud environments compliance and risk? Redundancy.
So they always give Abhishek one jargon which is not
But
familiar. So
redundancy is a major service, yeah, in between
yeah.
them.
So redundancy is not a characteristic of the cloud. We have seen the cloud characteristics and it was not there. So
But
always rule out those options. So redundancy is not the answer. Try one more time.
which are better? Okay, so basically rapid elasticity, it will assign some of the non-compliance
Correct. So
automatically.
correct. So it is in rapid elasticity, it is assigning or deprovisioning resources automatically. So it can as different geographical region, it can assign which has a different regulatory compliance. So let's say Facebook is not Facebook is banned in China, and when Facebook has some live event going on, it can assign as Facebook server in the Chinese region. In that case, it can create a problem for the Facebook to work in that region. So this rapid elasticity has a disadvantage if it is assigning resources in different geographical regions. So there's a way to handle it. There's a reason defined. So Oracle has a 40 regions altogether. So how you define the your services, like which regions are applicable to you, that you can control these features. But yeah, rapid elasticity can create an issue if it is not controlled. So
So,
next,
Ravi, sorry,
yes.
what does redundancy mean here?
So redundancy, it can be part of resource pooling itself. Redundancy is like we have enough resources to handle any hiccups or any issue. And currently redundancy is not a characteristic of the cloud. We have not seen it. So we will not go those options. Those are mainly that deflector. They are mainly options to confuse you only. So always go with the options which you have seen in the slides. So they will always give one option which looks good but will not be answer. So redundancy is, we will see. Data center, we have a redundancy concept. We will cover it there. But in cloud environment, we haven't seen the redundancy. Okay.
Okay.
So normally redundancy is having enough resources when there is when there is a disaster happens. We have additional server, additional resources to handle those scarcity. So that is not required here as of now in the cloud characteristics. Okay.
Okay.
So we go next to, oh, sorry. We go next to, I think this Karthik is next and Sharad alphabetically. Yeah, Karthik.
This is rapid elasticity.
So always you are correct, but always the better option is always remove the options which is not related to our answer. So
Yes.
in this case, it is not broad network access. It cannot be major service because it's not asking the billing and others. There are two in two cases. If it is something we can control, like we can assign the resources, then it is self-service. But if it's automatically managed, then it is a rapid elasticity.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So this is for Sharad. Sharad, can you hear us now better? Sharad, is it audible to you now?
Yeah, I'm able to
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
just give the answer of this question.
Yeah. Answer is A, cloud broker, I believe.
Correct. So there is no confusion here. Actually, there is no partner given in the answers. If it is there, you might have got confused because there is no role. We haven't seen cloud integrator. So we'll remove this answer altogether. So and we haven't seen the cloud access broker as of now. So these two roles will be removed. Now consumer is the one who purchase it. So definitely is a broker. But just to understand that their business model purchasing cloud services in bulk. So they are such purchasing services from different ISP in the bulk. But if they are asked to associate a particular vendor, then it will be go to broker option, partner option. Okay. So hope this is clear. There is some question will be like this in exam. So one question they will ask, this is a role, which role they are talking about. Okay.
If in that question, if we have option of cloud partner, then what would be the more appropriate one?
Cloud, it is a cloud broker because partner should be associated with at least only one and one CSP. It is
Oh.
not mentioned that it is associated with only one CSP. It is purchasing services from different cloud. It is mentioned. That's why it is a broker.
Okay, so the partner can be of just one provider with
One provider.
associated with.
Yes,
Okay.
only one provider. Okay. So this is to Arpit now.
Sure. It's it's a C, resource pooling.
Correct. Correct. So when we were discussing about ISO and IST, we have mentioned that multi-tenant is actually resource pooling feature only. That's why NIST is not given as a separate characteristics of the cloud. So resource pooling is because of the resource pooling, multi-tenancy is possible. Okay, good. So we go to Abhishek now. Abhishek, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Just give the answer.
users can we monitor, control, and report. Measured service or broad networks? I'm confused.
So broader network accesses, they can be accessed from everywhere.
Access
There
can-
is no access mentioned here. This is all about they are
Mm,
monitored, reported, so they can be billing in others associate.
mm,
So this is
measured
major
service.
service. Okay. So this is to next to Karthik.
This is rapid elasticity.
No, Karthik. So uh,
Yes.
when we have seen that reference last is auto provisioning, but when customer can provision themselves without the human intervention.
Without human on-demand self-service.
Okay. So yeah, there will be only
I misread the question.
yeah. So read it properly in exam. Also, similar questions will come. So always focus on the keywords mentioned in the questions. There are a couple more questions quickly, then we'll go to next concept. So this is good to Sharad now.
Sorry, you said something?
Yeah, Sharad, this is to you.
Okay. I think C, cloud services service provider.
C is cloud service partner, you want to say, correct?
Yeah, cloud service.
Yeah, because this is associated with a single CSP. So if it is associated with a single CSP, it is always a partner. And if it is associated with all the CSPs, then it is a broker. And there is no keyword like cloud storage providers. that is just to confuse you guys. So always select the keywords that you have seen. This is last questions before you jump to next concept. This is to Arpit.
Okay.
And definitely I will collect the answer from everyone for this because this is not a easy question. Just read it properly and think before give the answer. So all the characteristics are important, but which is not most important for this scenario?
I think point number A, on-demand self-service.
Okay, Abhishek answer is on demand. What is Arpit, your answer?
It's D.
Okay. What are the others? Karthik and Sharad, what is your answer?
I would go for C.
Okay, and Sharad?
Yeah. Actually, I just reconnected, so I need
Okay,
to
okay.
read again because there was.
Okay, you read it. I just explain it again. Meanwhile, you read it. So so this such scenario-based questions come in the exam. They might not ask directly which, so they create a scenario. So first thing you have to understand the scope of the question. So this is a university, and within a university there is an exam system, academic systems is there, and during the exams and others academic calendar there is a high load and demand. So they know in advance because they know which month exam is coming. So on demand self service is very important because they know next month we have exam, so we can have additional resources. Definitely one. Second is major service because this is university and definitely they don't have enough in infinite money. They need at least whatever they are consuming. So that's why they are using self service. They are not having the resources available every time. So they are adding the resources on demand. So major service is also important. And as I mentioned, resource pooling will always be a major property in all the cases because cloud is without resource pooling, no cloud features are available. So whenever the resource pooling come, always select that option. Now come to broad network access. Out of these four, though broad network access is also important, but because this system is not open to everyone, like not all the user in the globe use this, like it is not a service that is used by all the citizens of all the countries. It is related to a organization, within organization infrastructure only, within area of that boundary of that one. So the broader network access out of this four is not as important as other threes are. So we have to give the answer according to the situation. So because it is a limited audience who will use these services within a limited boundary, it is not geographically distributed. That's why the broad network access is not very important property of the cloud in this scenario. Hope it is clear. Any doubt in this one?
Yeah, yield to me. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So after every module, we'll go to module 2 now. After every module, we have exercise of 10-15 questions, and we'll check the concept in that module. So today now we are starting the module 2, but if you want, we can go for a 5-minute break and start it. So if you want break now, we can do a quick break.
Sure, Ravi.
Okay, so we'll again connect at 9:50 and we'll start module 2.
Okay.
Are you guys back?
I'm back, Ravi. Sharad this side.
Let's
Yes.
wait one moment. Karthik is also back. So before we start anything you want to discuss, Karthik, Sharad, we can use this time.
I'm interested to know more about the second point. I think this architecture related details,
Yeah, ask, pass,
deployment,
and
and other stuff.
yes, that will cover in the module 2. So that
Yeah.
is part of, so the domain 1 is all about the architecture only. So we will cover the
Mhm.
module 2, which has whole ask, pass, SaaS and other
And,
deployment models of the cloud.
and domain 2, like what will be covered tomorrow?
Domain 1 will go at least 10 days, not 10 days, 7, 8 days. Then it will start. Domain 2 is a data security. How the
Okay.
data
Give me a
security
second.
is.
I am getting one call. 1 second.
Yeah, okay, no issue. Are we back, Abhishek and Karthik?
Yes, Ravi, I'm there.
Okay, what about Arpit? Hello, Arpit, are you back? Five-minute break is not enough. अभिषेक, अर्पित, कार्तिक, कुछ पूछना है क्या जब तक वो लोग आए?
Um, mm, nothing specific.
Sorry? Arpit, Abhishek, are we back? Should we start? Karthik is starting this dummies one, the CCSP for dummies. There's a really good book, and there are 2 books I have shared, but the most important is CCSP for dummies.
Okay, sure. Let's start with that.
I will start the recording. Let's see Arpit join quickly and they can catch up with him. So I'm sharing my screen again. So now we will cover the module 2, which is more about the cloud architecture reference. It will contain AAS, PaaS, and SaaS, and different deployment models of the cloud. So it has a 4 sub modules that we'll cover now. So this is the traditional infrastructure that we have in on-premise system. And we do have a from networking, storage, server, virtualization, operating system, middleware, and the runtime and the data applications, all in their own manage and control. But there are 3 deployment model: AAS, PaaS, and SaaS. This is as a service they provide. So different service has a different level of control by the CSP and by the customer. So Arpit, can you hear me now? I'm not sure. Okay. So in infrastructure as a service, whole infrastructure is given by the CSP and the customer is responsible for the component above this. So till operating system. So even the operating system also given by the CSP. So they give the server. This is physical hardware. They create a virtualization over this. So we have a VM. In this VM, they also install the operating system also. And after this, then you have a middleware, runtime data, and other components in this one. In the platform as a service, they do sorry, apologies. The operating system area, sometimes the operating system can be managed by you. You can decide the operating system you want to install in the AAS or can be by this CSP. Normally, it is you manage the operating system. They provide the list of the operating system. Then you build the application above this. You install the middleware components like application server, database and others, and then you deploy your application. In the platform as a service, even the operating system and the middleware components like like WebLogic or Apache or all the application server also installed by them, and you develop your application, you install the application by yourself. In the SaaS, even the application is developed by them, middleware is them, operating system is by them. You just get a license, and there are few areas like data. Data is though is showing here, but this data always the customer is responsible for the data, even though it is stored and managed by the CSP. The customer has a responsibility to manage own data. So we'll see few scenarios based question later. When the even CSP make a mistake, lose the data, it is customer who is ultimate responsible, the cloud customer, for all the jurisdictions. So this is three model of the traditional infrastructure. Arpit, can you hear me now? I hope you are back now.
Yes, Ravi.
Okay, so just in case you have missed something, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS three service model where different responsibilities or different capabilities CSP and the customer has. So we have seen SaaS customer has no control. All the application, they cannot stop and start the application. They cannot stop the middleware components, like they cannot stop the WebLogic or the any app server that is being used. They only rely on the CSP. But in platform, they can stop and start the application. Let's say the application is deployed on the middleware components like WebLogic. They can stop and start at least the application, but they cannot touch the middleware components. In us, they can control at least the middleware components, and some cases the operating system also they can decide. So we'll discuss this in detail now. The ask, if you see, the capability provided to the consumer is to provision, processing, storage, network, and other fundamental computing resources where these are the capabilities provided. They cannot manage this, and the customer is or consumer is capable of deploy and run their software above this, which can include operating system also, as I mentioned. So you might have seen the VM concept, but we will cover them again. So in VM, there are two type of VMs, type 1, type 2. And in type 2, we install a hypervisor in the actual OS. So below this actual hardware, actual OS of the machine, a hypervisor is installed above this, where the guest operating systems. So actual OS might be Windows, but guest found Linux. So there will be on VM, there will be guest operating system. Then there will be middleware components like Java or Apache or Tomcat or that WebLogic, any application server, then application. So these three components, the guest can decide which operating system they need, their middleware components and their application. The customer has a total control. So customer can decide which is their components in ask. So this is being asked in many questions. So you just understand it properly. So what customer can control? Customer can control the guest operating system, middleware, and application. They can only make a request on hypervisor, and they have no control on the hardware. And provider has a total control on the hardware. They have admin control on hypervisor, but they have no control on these components in the ask. Clear? So consumer does not manage or control the underlying cloud infrastructure.
Ravi, I'm a little confused. Like when we are talking about the infrastructure as a service, in the
Yes.
last slide, we mentioned that that infrastructure basically includes the overall uh, uh, base, basically the machine, basically,
Correct.
and
Correct.
and the consumer does not have access to machine, basically. But in case of this diagram, you said hardware and the hypervisor. So when we say make a request for hypervisor, it means I can request, say, I need this much of processor, this much of
No.
RAM. So
Okay.
is this
Yeah.
possible in the past?
So yeah, in ASK, you when you raise a request for VM, so you raise a machine that I need a machine of 1 core CPU, this much memory. This in ASK you go to console. This is a on-demand self-service. You select a virtual machine or virtual instance, and you select it. So it is a one more hypervisor get created for you. So actually it is all about the virtualization. There will be no physical server given to you. It is one more VM created for you. And when you request, it is the server, it is the CSP who use the APIs to invoke the call and create a one system for you. Then you decide which operating system. This is your control. Till this, you only request that I need one CPU, one instance with 2 core CPU, 32 GB RAM, 100 GB hard disk. This is something in console. You fill a form, and when you submit, within few minutes, one virtual machine get assigned to you. Then you can decide which is operating system, what is middleware, what is application in ASK. Is this clear, Arpit? Still
Yeah,
have a
so
doubt? Yeah.
actually, uh, my confusion is in the consumer section, cloud consumer section, on hardware you mentioned no control, but
Correct.
basically when I'm requesting, basically I'm controlling it.
No,
So
it is a software you are requesting. So hardware, this is no physical hard. The hardware is already have hundred of CPUs and infinite like thousand of memories. In when you make a request, you request to a software that you create a virtual machine for me. So when we'll cover the virtualization, you will understand it is more. So you
okay,
only requesting for the virtual resources, not the real resources. The machine
okay,
already have real resources, and they are in enough number. So they have enough resource. That's why resource pooling is a concept. And I mentioned virtualization is making them possible. So hardware already have, they are the big hardware. They have all the resources in access, all the memory, CPU, hard disk on access. You just request as a virtual as a VM machine with a specific configuration for you.
okay, got it.
Got it? And we'll cover then virtualization. You will understand in more detail. But ask, I hope that's clear. You don't have
Yes,
underlying infrastructure, you don't have control, only the firmware. This is firmware, and the software above this you have control.
okay,
So ask capabilities, ask characteristics and benefits are. So we can quickly scale up and scale down the infrastructure as a service, because we can raise a request quickly for a server. We can release them also. We can have a converged network and IT capacity pool available. We can decide because we have a control on the guest operating system and the networking. We can control same sales service and on-demand capacity we have, because we do have features to raise a request for new machine or release the resources, and even the on-demand elasticity is also is possible. High resiliency and the reliability and resiliency. So because the CSP is managing the inline infrastructure, and we are getting the resources, they are under SLAs and threshold defined by them, and that's why they are highly reliable and the resilience is there. The metering and the service unit reduce cost of ownership. We don't need to purchase the hardware. We just need to see the operating cost. There is no tension of the energy cooling cost. When we have our own data center, we have to make sure the servers go down in a specific time. There is a the cooling and the energy cost associated with them. We are not worried, because all the infrastructure is managed by the cloud provider CSP only. There are few example for the infrastructure as a service. Oracle also one of them providing infrastructure as a service. So now we come to the past, platform as a service. So we have seen that hardware, there is a firmware. So it has, so you go with the same old diagram, that will be better. So hardware, hypervisor, guest OS, there is no control. These three are not in your control anymore. Now you have a control above this. So same way. So when we go to this till operating system, this is guest operating system. You don't have any control. Now you have a middleware that is being installed by CSP itself. you just deploy your application. So when we ask the control, application is customer application, CSP has no control. The middleware is deployed by the CSP. So the CSP has the admin console, but you do have a read only or some write operations to so you can run your program easily. So you have a access to the middleware, and you can control till you can make a program on that platform. But till guest operating system, hardware, firmware, you don't have any control here in the case of platform as a service. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now, okay. So now the characteristic of the PaaS is it supports multiple language, multiple frameworks because CSP is providing the middleware which requires to use. So it all the language it should be compatible: English, Korean, Chinese, German. Then all the frameworks it should provide the support to you. And it is a multiple hosted environments because we can have a multiple PaaS service requested by them. They have a flexibilities, and there's a reduce in lock-in. So we'll cover the lock-in, vendor lock-in again during the risk in the cloud, because we just deploying our application here. Code is with us. If the customer we are not comfortable with this CSP, we can uninstall the application and move to other customer, other provider. In that case, vendor locking is minimum. Sorry, not minimum. Minimum will be in SaaS base, but vendor locking will be reduced. So you do have a choice, and you can reduce the vendor locking. And there is a ability to auto scale up because we can request more resources from the CSP whenever we need, and there is a easy auto scale up features we do have in the past. And then operating system can be so when there will be when there is change in the operating systems or upgrade, then it can impact my functionality. There is one risk associated with them. So also globally distributed development teams are able to, but as it is a cloud based broader network access, the team associated globally can work together and develop the software. And same way the softwares are available and can be obtained from diverse sources and the cross international boundaries. And there is a upfront and the running cost or ongoing cost can be significantly reduced. So these are the past examples of past benefits. We can say we'll cover the SaaS also, then we'll cover the comparison between these three. So when we will cover the comparison, it will be more easy to understand. Same the SaaS base till the application also is being installed by the cloud provider. So we do have a Fusion SaaS applications or in many SaaS applications provided by Oracle and other CSP. We just go and like SCM, Fusion SCM application by Oracle and others. So we just go and use the application. So we do have admin controls, but on our user level controls only. So they will create our admin accounts. There we can go inside and create our user account and make some configuration there. Application is still controlled with the CSP. So we have very less control in the CSP. So just 2 point very important to remember. When there is a very less control, we don't have ability to migrate our data or easily move to other vendors. So when there is in the case of SaaS, the responsibility will be very less, control is very less, but chances of vendor locking is very high because CSP controlling my application data, and application data is in control with the CSP only. We don't have access of the database or the underlying object storage or underlying the disk volume or boot volumes. So when the question ask the CSP, they ask three type of questions in the CCSP exam. In SaaS based model, I either ask what, which type of control I do have. Is it a maximum control, minimum control? They ask on the responsibilities. In the SaaS, we have very less responsibility because we have a less controls. In identity in the infrastructure as a service, we do have a maximum control and then maximum responsibility also. In the vendor locking scenario, in SaaS, we are highly dependent on the customer cloud provider, and there is a high chances of the vendor locking in the software as a service. Okay, Sharat. So, any query before we jump to next concept? So in ask pass SaaS, we do have seen that which person control which, and what is the responsibility level. So we'll see some questions also, but we quickly discuss the features. Like in SaaS, it is easy to use, minimum administration, automatic updates of the pages management is done by the CSP. We don't need to worry about the operating system page, application page, and if they are serving globally, it is standardized, and the compatible solution they are developing, it is globally accessible. Few SaaS based, Gmail is also SaaS based service, LinkedIn also SaaS based, Flickr, many Facebook. These are SaaS based service where we go login, register ourselves, and use the service. We need to worry if new pages are releases or the new features are developed. It is done by the CSP itself. So we quickly discuss this, and then we'll see some of the features. So in infrastructure as a service, sorry, we have yeah, in software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and the platform as a service. So we come the infrastructure as a service. So these are the applications. If you have seen in industry, ERP, billing, sales, CRM, document management, email, content management, social networking websites, human resource websites. Mainly are the SaaS based services. We don't need to install anything on the software side for them. We just go and create our account. Either their admin create, or we do a self registration and we use their services. In platform as a services, the the databases that we install or the application we deploy, the integration we do, some business intelligence we perform, some development testing, those are past consumers. So if you notice this, mainly past consumer are developer. So if you are a developer, the best environment for you is a PaaS, because you do have a control of the application that you are building. So all the software development companies, definitely if they have limited budget, will be happy to go to PaaS. Ask definitely give all the features, but will more cost. So CSP asks question. The CCSP asks questions when they construct a scenario, and they ask whether you go with the SaaS, PaaS, and BaaS. Ask. So you check whether they are a developer and how much budget they do have in the exam question. So we'll cover this in the testing scenario also. But when there is a question, you just try to identify. They ask one question that in this case, the CEO should decide whether should go with the SaaS based model, PaaS based model, or AaaS based model. So you decide if it is a developer, it must be PaaS based model, until unless you have a requirement, you have a huge money, or you have a requirement for infrastructure also. So here we do own virtual machine, storage, CDN, backup, recovery, platform hostings. So AaaS is bigger. Uh, so when there is a options there, either you will get confused between PaaS and SaaS, because PaaS and AaaS, because SaaS is always a option when they say there is a minimum control, minimum responsibilities, then always go with the SaaS. But if it's a developer, then you might need to choose between PaaS and AaaS based on the scenario. So we'll cover these questions also, but hope this is clear now to you guys. So now we go to 4 deployment models that we have seen. Uh, Private, public, hybrid, and community. Before this, any query in Ask Pass SaaS? Or should we cover some question from them first? Okay, let's we go to some 1 or 2 question first, and then we'll come to the next concept. So some questions we'll cover. Oh, there's too much in this module. Oh, okay. Okay, we quickly cover the concept because We do have activity. Okay, 1 or 2 questions we cover quickly. We need to cover a lot. Okay, so we just cover 4 questions. First to you, Arpit.
Okay. In which cloud service? It's infrastructure as a service.
Correct.
D.
So yeah, correct. So you can roll out the same way. There is no CAS. SaaS we don't have any control. PaaS and AS. So PaaS we don't have OS control. We have application middleware component. So
Right.
definitely it is a AS. Okay. So this type of questions comes in the exam. At least one question comes, scenario based question. So this is the next questions to Abhishek, to you.
Hmm.
1 second. So let it get loaded. So Abhishek, next question. Can you answer this?
Yep, in which cloud service? That is pass.
Correct. So we are only responsible for our application that we have deployed, not OS, not hardware, anything. This is to Karthik. Okay, this is the next concept. Next, okay, leave it, Karthik. So I think I have questions more on the other that we'll discuss now. So, but you might have got the fair idea how these questions are asked on the Ask, Pass, and SAS. And when we'll give the question bank to you, you will get many questions on this Ask, Pass, and SAS. Tomorrow I will add a couple of more questions on those concepts. Okay. So now we come to these cloud deployment models. So there are 4 modules we have seen: the private, public, hybrid, and community. And there is one more, multi-cloud, that we have seen. When there's 2 public, it is a multi-cloud. So private is owned or leased by a single organization. So private is like own car. Either you own it or you lease it. Like either you go with the Uber or Ola or you purchase the car, but it's single organization and is operated solely for that organization only. So private cloud is more like a personal car, either leased or owned. Whereas public is like a bus, owned by an organization selling cloud service to the general public or to a large industry groups. So CSP own the bus, and it can be used by either the public or some large industry groups. This is public cloud. This is community cloud, shared by several organizations and support a specific community only. A community specific cloud service, it is a community cloud. And hybrid is composition of 2 or more clouds, either internal, community, or public. So any of this combination is hybrid clouds. We'll cover them one by one. The private cloud, the cloud infrastructure is provided for exclusive use by a single organization. In the question, if you ask that, they will ask the scenario based question, and they do mention that it will be used by a single organization only. Then always go with the private cloud based on the question language. So it may be owned, managed, and operated by the organization. So organization can itself manage it or can give it to third party or some combination of this one. So it's not necessary that private cloud. So I do have purchase a private cloud. Only I will manage. Either I can give it to third party or can be in combination of this one. The cloud may be located on premise in the organization data center also, or maybe a single tenant cloud environment provided by CSP. It's a very important concept. So I can have my own data center also. There this cloud is deployed, and Oracle is giving this feature now to the customer. Recently they have released it as a dedicated cloud. So dedicated cloud is a private cloud where you do have own data center and we will deploy our cloud services there. Or previously they used to give this one in the private cloud when there is a CSP data center, but only single tenant was there. But now they have given this concept also. That's why I'm saying cloud. Cloud can be on the organization data center also, private cloud only, or can be in CSP also. And all these services, SaaS, PaaS, and SaaS are available for that particular organization only. Any doubt in this one? Private cloud? Let me know in case you have. So what is advantage? Increase control over data, system, application, ownership, and the retention of the governance controls, assurance that over the data location. So okay, so when we go to CSP, CSP has a specific regions defined, and your data lies on those regions, those jurisdictions also. But when you decide to go to private cloud, you can decide which location your data should be there, under which jurisdiction. And this is very important for many of the customers, especially military or the health and science, and some organization collecting the European customer data. So if you are a your customer is a European customer, you are compliant under GDPR. And as per the compliance, you cannot put your European data in Asian data centers. So in those cases, the control and assurance will come based if you have a more control on the infrastructure, and this comes under the private cloud system.
Ravi, just one question. So suppose in my company, I mean, if my company gets a private cloud, okay.
Yes.
So I mean, the cloud provider will have a dedicated hardware and all those things for my company, right? In that case. So
Yeah.
does that mean that then my company has all the admin rights and all the controls on that hardware that they are providing?
No, it is still a rented service. So they are providing hardware for you only. They will charge more, but still the hardware is owned by them only. So it's like Ola, Uber. So I am providing a car to you. You can use it, or the Zoom car. I can provide a car. You can run it also. So if it is in your organization, it is concept of Zoom car. You can drive it yourself, but still the car is not owned by you. If you purchase the car, it is not a service. It is a service we are discussing. Platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. So if you own it, if you have money, it is the old tradition way. But now it is a service model when I am investing my money. But but there are different ways you can use my services. If you are want a own personal car, I can give you on rent. This is the model of the private cloud. Hope you are getting. So there is no control on the infrastructure itself. Only the data
Okay.
control I have, location control I have. Still the control will be IaaS and PaaS and SaaS based. Like
Okay.
even though in private cloud, I can decide I don't need infrastructure as a service. I only need a platform as a service or software as a service. So I will have higher price, higher cost, but still the infrastructure is lies with the CSP and they control everything, but they will use it only for me only. It's like I have given the bus to the school for the school purpose. So I own the bus, but it will not be used by any other purpose. Only it will be used to bring and drop the students of the school, because the school name is written there. So I have customized for you, but still I am the owner. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
The public cloud, opposite to the private cloud, open for use for all the public, no control. Um, do we do the have some control, like we can decide the which region our data will lie, but still the control is limited. CSP has a major control because it is very cost effective. They can have thousands of the customers on the same machine, even though some of them might be your competitors, because you are in the public domain, owned and managed by the business, academics, or government organizations, combination of them. So it is always exists on the premise of the cloud provider. So it is very important that if it is a public cloud, it is always in the cloud provider, but private can be in your data center also. Okay, we'll cover quickly all four cloud and we'll wrap up for today. So it is easy to set up hardware applications. Definitely it is cost effective, no wastage of the resources, paper use, and scalability to meet the customer demands, because it is it is being used by many customers. It is very cost effective, and there no wastage of the resources. the community cloud. This is cloud. This exclusive used by a specific community of the consumer for organizations that have a shared concern, like they have a shared mission, shared security needs, shared policy, shared compliance requirements. So it may be owned, managed, and operated by one or more of the organization in the community. So in the community itself, one or more organization can manage it, a third party can manage it, or some combination of this can be exist on on-premise and on the cloud also. So private cloud and community cloud we have seen, it can be existing on and off the premise. Public cloud is always on premise or off the premise in cloud. So if you understand community cloud when comes, we always select both the options. It can be on premise or can be off premise and can be managed by anyone in the community or third party. So there are some cloud is there. If you see the example, this if IBCC there, Cloud 4C for banks inbox, AWS one. So you can see these examples when you see the slides. So what is the advantage? It is a cost-effective manner. The value they need a specific group of entities. This can be used. Like as I mentioned, that it will be some specific set of organization need a specific set of features, and they have a specific need of compliance and that tools. So this can be customized, and this customized cloud is a community cloud. So why we don't go with the private cloud? Because private cloud is the best option, but it is more costlier. It will be shared cloud, but this is more secure than public cloud. So public cloud is open to everyone. It is at least open to a specific set of users only, a specific set of organizations only. The last is hybrid cloud. So any of this combination, public, community, private, or the on-premise, if we have one or more combination of this, it becomes a hybrid cloud. Okay, so we'll understand the cloud busting concept. Now, this is the last concept for today. Why the hybrid cloud is important? So this cloud burst is being asked. There are few jargons questions comes in the exam. So they ask. So they give one scenario and they ask, it is based on which? So cloud burst is that you have your own deployment model, whether it is a public deployment model or on-premise deployment model. But when there is a high load or when there is a need of high resources, then there is a possibility that it can switch. So let's say cloud busting is an application deploy model in which application normally runs in a private cloud or data centers. So when we run in the private cloud, it is very costlier. We cannot have infinite resources. We purchase a limited resources for the CSP. Or when there is on-premise system, my own data center I'm running, I cannot have infinite hardware. But when there is a load there, I can switch my applications to the public cloud. So in a hybrid cloud, when application need additional resources and they use cloud computing for additional resources required, it enables data centers to create an in-house IT infrastructure, and the load can be managed during the load period via the public cloud. So hybrid cloud, one of the example is cloud burst. In this case, application run either in the private cloud or data center, and it can burst in the public cloud. Hope it is clear. Abhishek, Karthik.
So Ravi,
Yeah,
if we have
yes.
more resources added to the private cloud on demand.
So if you have a more resources in private cloud, then the money is the issue. So let's say I next month only I need there is a possibility of the peak and I need additional resources. If I add them in private cloud, let's say it is costing me $100. But in public cloud, it may cost me $2, $3 only. So rather than I add a resources in the private cloud, just for the managing the peak, I can use the combination of public cloud and private cloud via the cloud burst concept.
But on demand is can be there on private as well.
Correct. On demand is there in the private itself, but then I can decide don't do on demand in the private, do on demand in the public cloud. So
Okay.
I'm not doing the feature of the on demand of the private cloud because it's too costlier. So I decided threshold. Beyond then, beyond that, don't increase my budget in the private cloud.
Okay.
Or let's say data center. You don't have a options of on demand in the data center because your hardware is already purchased. This is your own infrastructure. So there is no option of the on demand there. Then definitely the bust can help you to move your application load in the public cloud. Okay. So that's for
Yes.
today. So we have seen 4 deployment model, and we have seen the AS, PaaS, and SaaS in domain, module 2. And then we'll cover other multi-cloud concept and there and pros and cons of them in next lecture. Okay.
Thank you, Ravi.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.